And then again, if you have any more questions, please let us know. If you've had anything about that sprung to mind about what I've been talking about, if you have any more questions for Richard, do let us know. I'm just going to go through some more questions that were submitted when you registered, so hopefully I'll get through most of them. So first up, we've got, this is quite an important one for everybody. Is there a cost involved? You'll be happy to know that no, there's absolutely no cost involved to you for registering your product and for any of the process. It's a free service for you. Second question is, I'm not based in the UK, can I still register my products? Yes, so it's open to companies and manufacturers outside of the UK. However, only customers inside the UK will be able to benefit. So as long as you're selling your products to the UK market, then you can do so. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much benefit in it. The next question is, I have 10 different models of shower heads. Do I need to do a separate application for each? Yes, you do. So you need to do separate applications for each different product, even if it's just a different model. However, you can add multiple products to one application, and the form will allow you to copy product details across. This is helpful if you have a lot of different products with only small tweaks, as it saves a lot of time. And then the next question is, how long does it take to add a new category or technology? So as this involves changing government legislation, the process does take some time. So if you have a new technology, from making a new product application through to the review, and if approved and added to the list, this process usually takes around 2 years. But obviously, once it's on the list, so it's well worth doing. The next question is, how long will it take to review my application? So once you've submitted the application, we will make a decision. At the latest, it takes 30 days or 50 days for a systems application, but we'll usually get this done a lot sooner. And once you submit your application, that's not, you don't not hear from us during that period. If we've noticed that you've not supplied the right information, or if you need to supply different information, we'll be in regular contact with you to support you through the application process. The next question is, how do I register to make an application? That is via the WTL website, which we've shown. And then the next question coming up is, what supporting evidence is required? So the product must meet the relevant standards, and this is different for the different categories. But for example, for taps, compliance with the regulations may be demonstrated through something called a RAS approval. And this is true across all the technologies, a technology specification and marketing collateral must be provided. So you must provide us with something that states, for example, what the flow rate is of your product, or just so that we can see that it meets the efficiency threshold. And then the next question is, how do I obtain a copy of the logo? It will be sent to you once the product has been accepted. And then the last question I've got is, any limits on the product, the number of products you can register? Nope, you can register as many as you like, and it's completely free. And then over to Richard. Richard, have you got any questions on the line?
Yeah, there's a few. The first one I missed earlier on, actually. There's a question about uploading products as a list. Well, actually as an Excel file. You can't upload it as an Excel file, but we try and make it as easy as possible by allowing you to copy details between applications. So you can have multiple products in one application, and you can also submit evidence for that one application that will cover all of the products. It depends. There was a question as well. Can I apply a list, or do I have to apply every single part number? It's kind of dependent on the technology category. For example, rainwater harvesting is a component-based sub-technology, so there'll be various components under that as sub-technologies. So you can apply to have specific components added under each of the sub-technologies, but that's not the case for all of them. And as I say, it depends on how your product's put together. There's a few questions as well on the efficient professional washing machines category, which Rachel mentioned earlier is one of the areas that we're looking at for the criteria review this year. It'd be good, actually, Peter, if you could get in contact with us and we can maybe discuss that offline. If the customer buys water technology listed products at the end of the financial year, does he still get 100% ECA for this year? Well, it depends what side of the financial year you buy it. It'll be applicable within that year, so you can apply within that year to have it for your enhanced capital allowance. Are there any planned WTL promotions for state organisations such as schools and hospitals? Well, firstly, because schools and hospitals don't necessarily pay corporation tax and pay tax, then it doesn't always operate as a tax. It doesn't always operate, sorry, as an incentive. However, one of the things that we do push is to use the water technology list as a procurement tool for public sector organisations such as the NHS and schools. But we're also looking to run a webinar later in the year specifically for public sector organisations to highlight the benefits of the list to them. So details I'm sure will be sent out about that later in the year. Do you believe there's a high enough level of understanding of the enhanced capital allowance scheme within the potential customer base? Would a promotional one-sheet document be of use? Yeah, well, we think there is good knowledge of the water technology list out there, but it can always be better. We're always looking for opportunities to build the understanding within the market, both with manufacturers and in businesses, and of course public sector organisations as well. So anything that we can do to help you promote the water technology list to your customers, then we'll seriously consider, and I would urge you to get in contact with us if you've got any ideas or you've got any specific requirements. Then we'll try and help you out as much as we can. It's a mutual benefit both for ourselves and for you guys as well. Is there a connection with the water label scheme? That's obviously the EU water label scheme is fairly new, but we are trying to make sure that we work together and we align with that. But they are separate schemes at the moment. Is there any product testing done by yourself? Yeah, in order to sort of maintain the integrity of the scheme, we'll randomly sample a number of products every year from various categories to go to an independent testing house, and we'll test those products against the criteria against which they were assessed. Yeah, so that's done every year. Manufacture components for business to business that incorporate water and water leak detection systems. Am I too far away from the finished product to benefit? I mean, as I mentioned earlier on, we do try and support established products, mainly because it kind of reduces the risk and ensures that there is going to be some benefit in terms of water conservation or water quality improvement. But I would urge you to get in contact and we can maybe discuss your technology and how it might fit with the current scheme. And if not, if it's still too far away, then we can maybe explore it at a later date. I have a bathwater diverter which reuses your shower and bathwater for the DIY market that probably wouldn't be used commercially. Is it worth applying to get approval to encourage the everyday customer to save water? I mean, that's up to you. If you feel it would be of benefit to your customers, then feel free to apply under one of the categories. In terms of what category it would sit under, we probably need to discuss that. I'm not entirely sure. I need to know a bit more details about the product itself. How do you assess market penetration? As part of the new technology, new technology development and the criteria review, then we look at market penetration, and we assess this through literature review, market research companies, and we'll speak to trade associations and also manufacturers and end users to get a hold on how the market is developing, and also how the market is looking going forward as well, and obviously how the enhanced capital allowance plays into that and how it would affect the market. Because we want the ECA to act as an incentive, so we need to assess this on a regular basis as well. So I'm just sort of reading through all the questions. We license a water AMR package. The client buys a service rather than a product. How does this apply? I see services from our competitors are listed. Well, it needs to be, obviously it needs to be plant and machinery. So we'd probably need to, again, discuss that offline. It depends the type of package you're talking about, whether it's a product or it's a, I'm guessing it's an AMR, so it'll be product and potentially software as well, not sure. To qualify for a system we need to reuse 40%. Is that 40% of the water intake or 40% of the effluent discharge? It needs to reuse 40% of the wastewater going into the system. So 40% of the wastewater available to the system needs to be reused elsewhere within the site. So hopefully that kind of clarifies that. There's a couple of recommendations as well, which I'll take note of. Thank you for that. Who is the WTL owned, run by? Well, it's a scheme. The scheme is the scheme was developed by DEFRA, Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, in collaboration with HM Revenue and Customs. We manage it and run it on behalf of those organisations. We're Ricardo AEA. We've managed it since its inception 10 years ago, or 11 years ago almost now. Okay, I think that covers the majority of the questions. I know there's some there that are maybe a bit specific for this webinar, but we'll try and answer them offline. As I said at the beginning, there is the opportunity to get in contact with us there. I've provided the advice line, which takes you through to our helpline, and also the email address which you can send questions to directly. The slides will be sent out to all the delegates in the next few days, and if you've got any feedback for us or any comments or any other content or webinars that perhaps you'd like to see in the future, or areas that you think we maybe touched on too much or too little, then please get in contact with us. Any feedback, we'd really, really appreciate it. But if that's all the questions for now, I think we'll sign off and you can all go for an early lunch. So just lastly, thanks very much for your time, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.